Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Basil Rathbone inviting you to join me beyond the green door. Our story today is about the Himalayas, where the abominable Snowman lives. In those high peaks, no man can be blamed if he fears the approach of something from beyond the green door. Drake had no wish to climb Everest. One of the smaller peaks would suit him fine. A foothill was even better, since Drake only wanted a story to tell his friends. The travel agency understood perfectly. They arranged for a guide and all equipment, and they sent Drake up a little Himalayan foothill. But Himalayan foothills are apt to run to size, and even a reliable guide can't predict everything. So that was how Drake found himself stormed in less than 5 miles from Qatar. It was absurd, but not at all dangerous. Their tent was strong, and they had enough provisions to outlast the storm. There was nothing to do but relax and wait. Drake's Nepalese guide spoke English. Quite naturally, he talked about the Yeti, the abominable snowman of the Himalayas. Drake listened to tales of the huge white brute's enormous strength and its bloodthirsty habits, how it raided the surrounding villages, sometimes carrying off a yak, sometimes a herdsman, and always with a scream of savage triumph that chilled the man's soul. Drake laughed at all this. But 2 days and nights of storm did nothing to improve his nerves. At night the wind would tug at the tent ropes. Hail tapped on the canvas, and it sounded like the scratching of fingernails. The ice creaked under the snow with a noise like monstrous footsteps. He waited anxiously when the guide went out to find a safe way down the snowbanks. And then Drake saw something moving toward him across the snow. It was man-like and colored a dirty white. When it came closer, Drake saw that it had nothing but a tiny black opening where a face should have been. Drake tried to keep his wits about him, but then the creature screamed. Scream rose with shattering intensity, higher and louder than anything a human throat could produce, a murderous howl that forced Drake into action. He turned and fled from that shrieking apparition and ran blindly over the edge of the hill. The drop wasn't much from the Himalayas, but it was 200 feet or so onto a sheet of ice, harder than stone. The guide returned just too late. He stared at the approaching white figure. The figure unzipped a white pakha hood, which had been laced tightly to protect his face. The face was in near shock. "What happened?" he asked. The guide thought Drake had gone mad. There seemed no other explanation. "Well, maybe that's it," the man in the white pakha said. "If only he'd held out a few more minutes. The agency sent us to bring him down. My partner is just over the rise. We almost lost our snowmobile in the drifts." "I heard you," the guide said. "Sure," said the rescuer. "But why didn't Drake hear? We had that engine going like a pack of banshees." The guide shrugged. Who could tell why a man scoffed at the Yeti, but ran over a cliff to escape a snowmobile?